Hello! So I've done a little something different this time. I did not end up sewing anything for this video. Instead, I decided to enter some things in my local county fair. I was heavily inspired by a couple different creators across TikTok and Instagram who are doing this as well. And I have always grown up doing things for my county fair. I was heavily involved in 4-H when I was a kid, like very involved from like 4th grade all the way through graduation. So entering things in the county fair is not something that's new for me. It is new in terms of I'm opening things in the adult open class area and not an area specifically for 4-H, which I learned 4-H has a lot more rules and like regulations, and the judging days are a lot different than how it was for the adults in open class. So that was a little bit of a learning curve for me. So at the time of filming this intro, I've actually already finished my county fair projects and entered them and have gotten judged. And so now it's just a time to tell you about how it was and what I thought of it. Entering things was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. My county just had an online entry form where you looked at a couple PDFs explaining like what category your things should be in. I entered things in textiles and quilting, and for specifically like knitting, you could only enter one thing per class. I ended up displaying my tapestry knit of the lady. I put that under colorwork / Fair Isle knitting, just because I thought that was the best place to put it. In hindsight, I probably would have put it under the Hobby Crafts wall hanging area, but I put it under Fair Isle knitting, and there was quite a few pieces that were in that area. Clothing, I entered in 2 different categories. There was a casual dress where I ended up putting my patchwork dress in. There was no category for jackets or outerwear for what I could put my quilted jacket in, so I ended up putting it under other. And I didn't see that many things displayed from the others category, so I don't know how many pieces it was competing against. And then finally, I decided to enter my quilt block, and it was just a quilt block. I didn't enter a whole quilt. There was a category specifically for just a quilt block. And the funny thing is, I'm so used to 4-H where adults are constantly trying to encourage you and they're trying to tell you what a good job you're doing, but then also give you feedback very much in like a compliment sandwich kind of way, where you go up in person for 4-H with your item and you're like, this is what I made and this is how I made it. And the judge is very encouraging because they want you to continue on in that area while also helping you kind of navigate feedback and how to take it and how to work with it. I really take 4-H as how I'm so comfortable receiving feedback and also talking with adults about my projects and what I'm doing. And so it was very different with this open class because you do not see the judging. You walk in, you give your project to just like a clerk who checks in your project, and you don't know how you did on your project until the county fair when you go visit and look at it on display. In 4-H, you get the ribbon right there at the judge as you're talking to the judge about the project. So that was different for me, just like for going in, turning in my project, and then not knowing how I did. One thing that was interesting is I go in with my quilt block, and I'm used to 4-H where they're like, oh my gosh, what a good job. And I don't know if anyone, just like no one else had entered a quilt block that day, but I take it in and I'm like, here's my quilt block. And the clerk is standing there with like tables full of these quilts. Full-size giant quilts. She takes my quilt block, which is probably 13 by 13, and she goes, okay. And then like turns and walks away. And I was like, what was that? Like it was just such a dramatic difference from what I was used to in terms of entering things in a county fair. But just her like, okay. I'm assuming no one else had entered a quilt block and she was confused by how small it was. But I don't know. It was a very interesting reaction that kind of threw me off, and I was worried about how things would perform in the county fair, especially that quilt block. I was like, oh, did I read the rules wrong? Is it not a quilt block category? Is this not what they were expecting? Did it need to be bigger? I don't know. It ended up doing very well. So obviously it was fine. So first I had to go find all of my things. They were scattered throughout the fair hall, so it was kind of a scavenger hunt. I had entered things, and then I had convinced my mom to also enter her things. And so we had to go around and we were checking all the different cases while also marveling at just the other people's entries that they had done. There was some absolutely amazing quilts on display, and I wanted to share a little bit of this here so you could see just how amazing some of the large scale quilts that were on display. They were so good. So much intense artistry went into all of these hobbies, and I just love having these things on display. Not only did I enter things in the county fair this year under the open class, I also got to work with 4-H again, which was really exciting. So I used to be really involved in this one category called fashion review, and fashion review was about making an item and then specific, like a dress, skirt, something that you would wear, pairing it together with the different outfits, showing how you would actually model and like put out what you were making, how you were pairing it with other pieces in your closet. And then you would go on stage and actually model what you were wearing. And I did that a lot when I was a kid. And I did it actually quite well. I got many blue ribbons at the county level, got many blue ribbons at the state level, and even got chosen to represent Oregon at the national level, where I received 5th place one year. So I've done this activity for a very long time, and it has grown and expanded since I was a 4-H'er, to now include like a ready to wear where you go out and you buy outfits and you have a budget, to also doing like challenges where you have you try to make a costume, and this year's was unconventional materials. So you tried to make an outfit out of unconventional materials. So I was given the pleasure of going and judging for 4-H. So I was working with people that used to judge me and were adults in my life when I was a kid. So it was really great to catch up with everyone. My co-judge was actually a girl that I used to compete with. She was a year younger than me in 4-H. And so that was really fun, just getting to see her again, kind of talk about all the things that we did when we were kids, and super involved in 4-H. So we did spend a lot of time together, even though we were opponents. So that was good to kind of catch up with her and see all of the new wave of 4-H'ers. COVID really had an impact on enrollment for our county for 4-H, and so it was great kind of seeing it build itself back up again. It's still not where it was when I was a 4-H'er, but it was great to kind of see where it is, what's coming in, and how are the kids doing. They made some absolutely amazing outfits. It was crazy the skills that they were showing in their 4th grade level. These kids are super talented. They are just absolutely working hard, and so it was great to be able to judge them and really encourage them in their projects and just see what they were doing. They made some amazing pieces, and it honestly, some of them really inspired me to have some ideas for what I'm going to be sewing next. And the final reveal for how I ended up doing with my different projects, I was able to place with every single thing I did, which I'm so incredibly excited for. I was able to get a 3rd place, 2nd place, 1st place, and a champion ribbon on my 4 projects. So everything I entered placed, which I'm so excited about. So that was just such an amazing thing. I did not think I was going to do that well my first year. And so the fact that I walked away with more than 1 ribbon is insane. I'm super excited for what it was. That was just a quick video of my ribbons. I actually wasn't able to go and pick up my projects after the fair. So what I had to do was have my mom, who also entered things in the fair this year, I had to have her pick them up, and she very kindly agreed to film a little clip of her laying out the ribbons. That way I could show you guys what they looked like. My knit tapestry got a 3rd place, which I found the 1st and 2nd place for that area, and they were very good, like full garment sweaters with color work. I'm not surprised really that my little knit block did not get a 1st place ribbon, especially compared to some of the other things that were on display. My dress ended up getting a 2nd place, and there was another entry, so it got 2nd place out of 2. I believe there was 2 anyway. My quilted jacket did end up getting 1st, which I'm really proud of, and I'm excited about that. And then my quilt block, which I didn't know how it was going to do because of the interaction that I had with the clerk, ended up getting like a champion ribbon. So I'm very happy with that, especially considering what beautiful quilts were on display. There were so many different things. It was by far the largest category that they had. The entire hall was just lined with these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful quilts. So the fact that I was able to get a champion ribbon in that category just exceeded all of my expectations. I did not think that I was going to do as well with that at all. So that was really exciting to experience, and I'm really happy with how I did. I have so many ideas for what I'm going to do next year. I already started like a list in my notes app for what I'm going to enter. I'm going to try to enter as many categories as I can next year, especially now that I know kind of what the categories are. I'm just going to go ahead and plan. I'm going to do as many things as I can. I decided to enter the county fair a little bit at the last minute. I think there's only 2 days before entries were closing. And so everything that I entered, I had already made. And so there wasn't anything that I made specifically for the county fair. And so I was kind of working within the confines of what I had and then also what categories were available. So this year, I'm definitely going to be making things and ahead of time being able to look at the fair book and kind of see what areas am I going to target. With that in mind, next year I'll probably make a video too, so stick around if you want to see that. But with that, I do try to upload videos every other week on Tuesdays, so keep a look at that. I do post shorts on TikTok and YouTube shorts as well as Instagram and Pinterest. So my videos are all over the place. If you want to see more of those, I post shorts much more frequently than I post long-form content. But I have been really enjoying making longer videos. It's nice just to chat and to show off my things. I love reading the comments. I try to reply to lots of comments. So if you want to leave one, and what should I make for the county fair next year? What are some things that you think would be interesting for me to enter? I know that I definitely am going to try to make a larger quilt. I think that's going to be amazing. But with that, that's going to take a lot of time, and that is something I'm going to have to get a hold of in terms of what pattern I'm going to do, what fabrics. That's going to take some planning. So I'm going to hold off on that for this year, but all in all, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Pivots.
Happy birthday.